Now, next up, when you think of commerce, chances are you might think of Walmart. Our next speaker is Janie Whiteside, the EVP and first ever Chief Customer Officer at Walmart. She's responsible for looking after Walmart's brand and thinking through the customer journey, both for the Walmart stores and for their very large e-commerce offering. Before joining Walmart, Janie spent more than 20 years at American Express in leadership roles, including international pricing, relationship management and marketing, customer engagement, global products, benefits, and services. She serves on the board of directors of the Walmart Foundation, which is a really powerful and important part of the infrastructure of philanthropy around the world, and Walmart's joint venture with interactive technology company Echo, whose founder was a speaker at Signal just 2 years ago. Welcome, Janie.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm moving over here. Look at that. Everyone's pointing this way. So the audience is like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So you're Walmart's first Chief Customer Officer. Can you explain what that role is?
Yeah, so I do have the privilege of leading the customer organization for Walmart. And when you think about the components of the team, I guess the single thread is that when you add them up, we touch every part of a customer's journey with us. So that's everything, as you mentioned, from customer insights and journeys and all the data that we have about our customers, to our design and UX organization, to marketing, to our membership organization, our B2C businesses, so financial services, etc., B2B businesses, Walmart Connect. I heard you talking to Neelam earlier. So Walmart Connect is our media and ad business, our data ventures business, and then we sort of round it back off with our customer care organization and anything that we're doing, talking to customers, before, during, or post-transaction. And so as we built this team, we kind of thought about building really an end-to-end experience for our customers with a few key principles in mind, all of which really stem from this notion of we want to have a functional relationship with our customers in terms of trust, but more than ever, we want to have an emotional relationship with them. So being able to, why did we create a customer organization? Well, we've talked a lot about the customer. For anybody who knows Walmart, we have the cheer. We talk about who's number one, the customer always. But infusing customer centricity in everything we do is incredibly important. And so, part of what we're doing now is really putting the customer at the center of every project. And the reality is, if it doesn't deliver for our customer, it's not going to get funded, it's not going to get staffed, period. And so we need to make sure that we continue to do that. We need to make sure that we continue to innovate on our customers' behalves. Walmart has grown up, obviously, as an organization that's grown very quickly on the back of incredible merchants, incredible logistics, and a great store operations business. And we need to continue to do that. But we know that when we know our customers better, when we understand them, we can fit into their lives and solve problems on their behalf. And that's really important to us. And often in the customer org, we joke because we start to get really attached to our customers, and so it means a lot when we can deliver on behalf of them. And then finally, what we think about a lot, and what I think is different about being running a customer org at Walmart versus something else is, for us, it's about our heart and our humanity. So one of the reasons that I joined Walmart was because we really have a real deep sense of purpose across the organization. And, I heard you mentioning the foundation, but we do have a unique position across communities. If you think about, we have 1.6 million associates in the US, and they're fueling communities across the country. And that is really important. And when you think about that and add it to the fact that we know that 80% of Americans said they will remember the companies that did the right thing by their customers and their workers during the pandemic. It's really important that we think about the role that we have to play, and how we tell our story for our customers, but also our associates. And by telling our story, I mean not just telling our story as marketers, but how do we deliver against that with great quality physical and digital experiences, both for our customer and for our associates.
You've got you got the angel of I can't get no satisfaction over your shoulder there. I noticed. It looks like a young
So,
Mick
yeah.
Jagger whispering in your ear. Um, Now, a key part of understanding that consumer is understanding how they're changing. You see so much of that. I know you have a very strong data business and you understand your customer very well. What insights over the past year have you noticed, and what do you see coming from sifting through all of that information?
Look, I mean, knowing our customer's got to be at the core of everything we do. And we've talked a lot about the pandemic, and what was really interesting, through the pandemic, obviously, was watching the way that consumer behavior changed. And and everybody who's listening to this probably lived through it, but you could see what was happening based on what people were buying. So at the beginning, obviously, it was the stockpiling of PPE and basic staples, and then we moved on to things like board games and school equipment, and then it was baking equipment, and then we were into home improvement, and then we were into personal grooming, and all of those products. And interestingly enough, as we sort of started to open back up, one of the first trends we saw a few months ago was like dramatic increases in people buying teeth whitening and toothpaste and mouthwash and deodorant, which is a little bit scary, which indicated to us that probably masks were coming down and people were feeling comfortable going outside. And so we continue to watch those trends. Clearly, and you heard Neelam talking about it. The pandemic, drove rapid, and I would say more rapid than would have happened otherwise, adoption, particularly of groceries, online shopping for groceries, and thinking about having those delivered. I've spoken a lot about the fact that I think we accelerated 5 years of customer adoption in 5 months. So our ability to leverage that and make sure that we're thinking about ways to be able to solve that on behalf of customers is important. But interestingly, now as things open up, we're also seeing customers want to be back in store. So there was a lot of dialogue, if you remember, going on. A lot of people hypothesizing, well, is the store dead, right? Is the physical retail store dead, and is everything gonna be online? Definitely not what we're seeing, right? Customers want to be back in store, not just they want to be able to pick stuff up, they actually want to be in store and are looking for interesting experiences when they're in the store too. So we continue to see this adoption. We continue to see new segments of customers be interested in digital offerings, but very much they're back. They're back in the store. They're back engaging, and they want to be able to leverage whatever structure, whatever opportunity works for them wherever they are.
Yeah, you mentioned your work on the Walmart Foundation board, and it makes me think about one of the pillars here at Signal, which is corporate citizenship. And sustainability, which we've already had many discussions about. Walmart has some very aggressive sustainability goals, and you measure yourself aggressively against them and report it out every year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the events of the past year, whether it's the pandemic, the murder of George Floyd, what we're seeing in terms of rising income inequality, obviously the intensifying climate and ecosystem decline, all of those underscore the relevance of our shared value philosophy that we have. And while all of these have challenged us internally, obviously externally, but also internally, they've reinforced our desire to accelerate our omni-channel transformation. But as we do that, to do it in terms, in alignment with our commitment to being a regenerative company, even if I can't say it. And so that means that we want to, fulfill our customer mission. We want to solve on behalf of our customer, but do it in a way that restores and renews and replenishes both nature and humanity. And so specifically on sustainability, we source an estimated 36% of our electricity needs from renewable energy. Through Project Gigaton, we've had 3,100 suppliers report cumulative 416 million metric tons of avoided emissions since 2017. And I think but we set 2040 as a target date to achieve zero emissions across our global operations, and have committed to help protect, manage, restore at least 50 million acres of land and 1 million square miles of ocean by 2030. That sounds like a lot, but there is just so much to do here. And the challenges facing businesses and society, I think, require collective action from all of us. And one of the things that I've experienced and observed at Walmart is because of our scale, because of the breadth of places that we touch, it's really important that we lean into this aggressively, not just for our impact, but as a leader and pull people through. I think the pandemic demonstrated how really small but widespread changes in individual behavior can produce large-scale positive impacts. And we certainly believe that business can be part of the solution. And so, we are excited about P&G, as a stakeholder in Walmart, and your collaboration with us on this journey as we attempt to solve, or play a part in solving these issues that are facing all of us, and will be the next generations to come. Definitely.
I want to dig into the customer centricity of the company, and specifically a program that, as I understand it, is relatively new or renewed, which is Walmart Plus, which is an ambitious loyalty program for your very large base of customers. And as you described it in research that I did in preparation for this, you noted that there were two kinds of trust that a customer will place in a brand. Functional trust, which I sort of feel like it's self-evident, like, do I get what I expect, right? And then what you called emotional trust. What is emotional trust, and how do you break it or keep it?
So to me, the story I always tell is, I like to think about emotional trust. I mean, when you think about customer relationship management, you think about loyalty in general, I always liken it to people when they ask me about it as a friendship. And I think emotional trust is like a friendship. So, when you have a friend, if they're late to dinner or they say they're going to call you back and they don't, well, that's one thing, right? You can get over that, right? You might be annoyed at them for now, but you'll get over it. But if that friend was to forget to pick up your kids from school when they said they were going to and left them stranded, if that friend was to betray your trust by telling others, a secret you told them in confidence, it'd be really hard to get over that. Right?
Yeah.
You'd really struggle to get back to being to them being a friend. And so when you think about loyalty in those terms, it starts to feel different, right? And so when you liken that to Walmart Plus, if we tell you, we invite you to be a member of Walmart Plus, you engage with us, you pay us to be a member of Walmart Plus, we've set up an expectation or a contract, a friend contract, a loyalty contract with you. If we let you down, if we commit to you that we're going to get you, groceries, or other items, but particularly groceries, by a certain time, if we don't get them to you by a certain time, or if that order is missing something that's really important, if you were relying on us getting you chicken breasts to be able to make dinner for your kids that night, and your order comes and it doesn't have chicken breasts in, we've broken that emotional trust. And, when we don't get it right, it's really interesting for me, because I get all of the customer feedback, to see the words that customers use. And so very often it is, you've broken my trust, you've let me down, I trusted you. I trusted you because, I thought I was giving something over to you. And I talk a lot in Walmart Plus about it being the ultimate life hack. And sometimes people say, well, I don't understand what that means. I think it's about lifting the cognitive load, which is, I trusted you, Walmart, to bring me items that I was going to be able to use for dinner. And I kind of, in my brain, that item was done. I've moved on. If we let you down, next time when you place an order with Walmart, in the back of your head, you're thinking, well, what if they don't bring the chicken breast? What else am I going to have? Do I need to have a backup plan? Right? Just like with a friend, if that friend didn't go and pick up your kids and they left them, next time, if you let them go and do it, you'd be sitting in the back of your head thinking, I need to check up. I wonder if they've got them, right? That doubt would be there. And so we talk a lot about where have we created these emotional trust contracts with our customers, and how do we make sure that we understand what they are and that we're living up to them? Because once you've let somebody down, once you've broken that emotional trust, it's really hard to get it back.
There was an example that, if you could briefly to sort of tell this story of when you sold more PlayStations than you ended up being able to deliver on. What did you do?
Yeah, so we had a glitch and we oversold PlayStation 5s, which for any of you who have teenage kids like me know are very hot items. And so we had a decision to make. On the one hand, there were people who were saying, well, what we should do is just cancel the orders. We'll just, we'll communicate to customers. But rather than send a sort of Dear John email to customers, we thought about that emotional trust contract. And we brought a team together to see what we could do. And actually, when we looked at what was going on, we found we had enough inventory of the better version. So we'd oversold the online version, and we had the disc version, which can use online and with disc, to be able to fulfill the number of orders that we'd oversold. And so we sent a letter out letting customers know that we'd upgraded them, no cost to them, same timeline, and they'd be getting their order just when they thought they would. Only it will be I think a $200 upgrade. In terms of the PlayStation, which we did. It was the right thing to do on behalf of customers. I was blown away at how much chatter it created on gaming sites, and how much interaction I got from people on social sites, A, saying thank you, and then B, as you can imagine, the number of people who were like, great, I'd like an upgraded PlayStation 2, please. But to me, this is a really great example of what thinking about that trust contract is, and thinking about how you can and should be really customer centric.
Right. Yeah, it's a great story. In the little time we have left, I was wondering if you could give our audience an overview of something you mentioned earlier, which is your Walmart Connect business. This is your media and advertising business.
Yeah, so look, I heard Neelam talking, and so, the reasons we're in this business, exactly the same reasons that he said he was in this business, right? Retail margins are declining. We need to be able to put great innovations in on behalf of our customers. We need to think about other ways of being able to create revenue to feed into doing that. I heard Neelam say the word connections a lot, and I think that media and ad business is about connections, right? We've always, since the beginning, been about connecting customers and great brands, and now we have the ability to do that more than ever at the right point of time, and to be able to create connections with brands who otherwise potentially wouldn't ever be able to reach that customer. And so we've built a business that we think can serve clients in a way that nobody else can, as a real closed-loop, omni-channel media company. And one of the things that I'm really excited about for our business is that because we house the Connect business and marketing in the same team, we are both a buyer and a seller of media. We're one of the biggest buyers and also sellers of media. And so because I know what I hold my CMO and our marketing team to in terms of the data, the insights, the reporting that we need back when we're buying media, it helps us, I think it helps us be able to put together a media business which says, well, would we buy what we were selling? And so Walmart Connect is creating ways for partners to be top of mind in our stores, where we're able to leverage assets. So everything from the TV walls we have in our stores to the checkout screens to when you check in to pick up. So we are now the biggest out-of-home advertising platform in the world, the country, by turning that on. We give people chance to access customers in the internet in a way that we feel really is accretive to a customer's experience, because they get to see things that they wouldn't otherwise do, all while we're able to deliver substantial value at high margin for our merchant partners. And so for us, that's about, as I said, our own digital properties and offering holistic campaigns across those, the in-store experiences, as I mentioned, and then thirdly, we've done this partnership that I'm really excited about with Trade Desk, the demand side platform, and so we'll be able to leverage our first-party shopper data, which you can imagine is pretty unrivaled, and use that with everybody else's data in order to be able to target ads off platform. And so that's something we're working on aggressively with P&G right now, and Mark and the team. And we're really excited about that, helping create more compelling results for our suppliers, for our advertisers, etc.
Well, Janie, we'll have to leave it there. I have many more questions for you, but I have a feeling we'll be speaking with you again at Signal. So thank you so much for being part of today's event. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.